Welcome to Friday Night Lights, a podcast about sports at Menlo from the coat of arms. We are your hosts, Asher Darling
and Devon Schaefer.
Okay, so today we're here with varsity girls flag football head coach Noah Lubarsky and sophomore quarterback and defensive back Ava Allen. So before we started recording, Coach, you told me that the team finished number 20 in the whole country in the final rankings of the season. You finished with an undefeated record this year, and then on Friday beat Sacred Heart 20-6 in the Valpo Bowl. So tell us about how the season went as a whole and what it meant to finish it off with a win over the school's biggest rival.
Yeah, I think it was awesome just to, keep up the success that we had last year. The team was amazing together, and I just think to cap it off with that Valpo win was the best we could have asked for.
Great, and well, thank you for having us, first of all. I agree with Ava. This is my first year coaching girls, and I didn't really know what to expect, and for us to have that type of success on the field was incredible. I'm really happy that everyone got to have that experience.
And then, so a little bit more about how this was your first year coaching girls flag football. So how was that transition and how did your perceptions of what the season would be change throughout it?
Yeah, interesting. So I think, and I'm going to generalize here, the difference between boys and girls, and I saw a study about this, is that boys are singularly focused on one thing, whereas girls can multitask. So an example of that is if I'm washing dishes or chopping up bell peppers, and my wife is talking to me, it goes right through an ear because I'm so focused on washing the dishes. Whereas she can be cooking dinner, having a conversation with myself, having another conversation about, and just doing all these different things. So how does that apply to a football field? With the boys, you have to give clear direction and keep them engaged the entire practice, because once you lose them, it's hard to get them back. So, for example, for doing drill, each drill has to have a purpose, and you constantly have to keep them moving. And what I learned with the girls were, you could give them a drill, and they'll be dancing or doing handstands, but they hear it and absorb everything you say, and they pick things up a lot quicker. And so in the football area, we were able to get a lot of stuff in a short amount of time, and I think allowing us to kind of have a schematic advantage helped us on the field.
Yeah, so this is the second season of having this sport really across the country. It's become, one of Menlo's finest sports, you could say. What is it about this team that you guys think separates it from the other schools that you've played in the Bay Area? How you guys have gotten out to such a great start as a program?
Yeah, I think although we're a smaller school compared to the ones that we might play, just our community as a team, we all trust each other, we all love each other, and you just might not find that in the dynamic of these other teams that we play.
Yeah, and it certainly helps when you have a quarterback. We certainly have a good one. I just think, we have athletic girls who like the game, who want to learn the game. They like each other, and they play for each other, and I think that's something that often gets overlooked. We didn't really have that many egos. I think every single girl on the team had that singular focus of what can I do to help this team, and that really helped us on the field.
And then Ava, you've earned a lot of recognition this season and last season just from being the quarterback and with some really strong play. So how from last year have you because last year was your first year playing, how have you improved or changed how you play? And yeah,
I just think last year was obviously my freshman year and the first year flag football, so everybody was learning, including me. I'd never really played before, but I had just messed around. But then this year is when it really got organized, and so I think that just allowed me to really have main goals to focus on throughout the season, and just with Coach Lubarsky as our new coach, we just had more organization and structure, and that really helped me succeed.
Yeah, so with the change in the coaching staff, I don't know if things have changed, but obviously there's a big, emphasis on leadership. I'm curious to hear, though, how the game is different from a strategizing football standpoint when you're thinking about not tackling but pulling flags, or throwing the ball downfield? How do you strategize for a game, and how is that different from how your experience from playing football and coaching it?
Yeah, great question. So the biggest difference is in flag football, it's 7-on-7, and you have 6 eligible receivers. And what that means is 6 people can run down the field and be able to catch the ball. Now in the tackle football background, you have 5. And so what that does is that generally allows the defense to have an extra 1 or 2 free players to cover your receivers. You don't have that in flag. And so the challenge, or for me, which was, I really enjoyed this, was kind of trying to come up with defensive schematics on how to stop a team without having that free extra player. And so that's really kind of a lot of thought went into putting the girls in a right position and trying to free up an extra player. So a lot of that, there was film review, and the girls were great as far as taking to that. And then putting in the schematics, they were really good at picking that up. And so I thought that was the biggest difference, I guess, between the tackle game and the girls game. But I think we kind of found a pretty good solution on how to overcome that.
And then we'd love to hear like a little bit more of that, like about that team camaraderie that Ava was talking about. Like, what do you think like really contributed to that? And like, this is a new team, a new program. Like, how do you think that's affected the team camaraderie?
Yeah, I think being new is exactly what helped us. Like last year, there wasn't like 12 seniors or 12 juniors. Like there's just like a couple from each grade, which really help us like with inter-grade like connections. And so like everybody's friends with everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a freshman, junior, senior. Like everybody's part of the team, and then we really make everybody feel like included.
And then as a coach, like how have you like seen that camaraderie like on the both on the field and like off the field? Like, what have you seen from that?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm used to kids kind of generally staying within their own grade, and it's unique to have a program where you have, I think we have 5 freshmen on the team, 8 seniors, and then but to see the freshmen and seniors, the way they interacted, almost you couldn't tell what grade anyone was in. They really just got along well. Hats off to the leaders. I think the girls had fun with each other. Again, they kind of crossed that grade boundary and just were playing together. It was really nice to see.
Yeah, so I think walking home from one of my basketball practices, I saw like a team dinner. I don't know if that was the banquet, just end of the year send-off dinner. What did it mean to you guys to be able to send off the seniors that have kind of helped build this program up from the ground with an undefeated season?
For me personally, I think it was like really sad, especially when they were giving their speeches at the end, just because like they've been here last year and this year, so that's like how I've known it, and it's definitely going to be much different next year. But I think it's nice that we got like one more final get together after Valpo just to really see everyone off, and I hope to just keep connections with them the rest of the year.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's kind of bittersweet, but one of the things I just really appreciate is I think each senior person kind of brought something to the team, and what's great with this being so new is that's going to be kind of embedded into the cultural DNA moving forward, whether it was a type of leadership or the way they practice or the way they interacted with each other. So what was great is each senior made contributions obviously on the field, but I think more importantly they made some lasting contributions that we're going to take and move forward with.
And then like looking forward to next year, this year there was no playoffs for CCS, so you guys ended your season last Friday at Valpo Bowl. But what are you guys like hoping to accomplish in the future now that there will be like CCS playoffs? And yeah,
I think the goal should definitely be to win CCS. I think it was definitely possible this year or even last year. But then teams are getting better, so I think we just have to keep working and work towards that goal.
Yeah, and just breaking news here, there will be, they confirmed that we will have some CCS flag football playoffs next season. Mm-hmm. And that's our goal is we believe we are the model flag football program, and that doesn't just include on-field scores, but if we're able to play to our capabilities, I think we have a really good chance of coming out as one of the top teams in this area.
Yeah, and then Ava, last year you were a freshman. This year, what has it been like taking more of a leadership role? The quarterback's got to be, communicating to the other players, and then as an upperclassman, how do you hope to, kind of more captain the team?
Yeah, I think last year I was just nervous coming into it. I didn't know how I was going to be perceived by, like, the upperclassmen and the older girls. But this year, since I've, like, found my friends and my community, like, I found, like, my voice and just the team. And then, obviously, next year I hope to just be more of a leadership presence with the seniors that we're missing. So, yeah.
And then, go ahead.
No, I was going to add to that. We touched upon this at the banquet. And the scary thing about Ava is she's barely scratch the surface of what she can become, and a big part of that is going to be your leadership moving forward. And so I'm really excited to see how great she's been the last couple of years. There's still a lot left there.
And then, Coach, you talked a little bit about how the Menlo girls tackle football team is somewhat of like a model for like other programs. Like, what do you think really like puts you guys, like, really stands out with you guys in like your program?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's just they genuinely do like each other. They get along, and I think they do play for each other. And in sports, the thing that's so difficult about sports is we talk about it's team and team first, but the reality is a lot of people are concerned about their individual statistics or their individual playing time. And I don't think we had that ego on this team. I think everyone really was looking out for the best interest of the team, and if that's something that you can really hold on to, it can carry a program.
All right. Thank you both for coming onto the podcast. It was nice to talk to you. Look forward to seeing you out on the field next season. That's it for today's episode of Friday Night Lights. Thank you for listening.